good weekend.
Did you watch the Black Stars game?
Yeah, we watched the Black Stars.
Did you watch like the full game?
Yeah, we got the full
Hey,
game.
then you are very interested.
I'm very interested in my country's game, actually, but my expectations were not met. Yeah.
You didn't like the way
But
the
I
boys
thought we
played?
scored.
You know, yeah, we
And
scored,
finally,
we
Inaki
scored, but playing with
disappointed
such...
you people.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We were expecting like 3 to 4 goals.
Why? Comparing to their previous performances, why are you expecting
Because
3 to 4?
comparing our current team to Madagascar, we have an upper hand than Madagascar.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So
I feel
I was expecting 3 to 4 goals, but
I think that's too overreaching.
the good thing is that
It is?
Yeah, because,
Because you're placing too much expectations on the Black Stars.
well, I'd go back to the previous performances, and so I wouldn't expect
Okay,
3.
they haven't
and
done
with the
so
kind
well.
of players
Yeah.
we have right now, at least we
Exactly.
could have
Look at the players
expected
we have.
much out
More
of them. Yeah. So
Kudus, Inaki, anyways.
I was
And
expecting
then
like 2 goals from Kudus, but
Felix, how are you?
I'm very great.
It's like he's not a sports person.
Absolutely, yeah. You got
You
me.
really are not a sports person. I can feel it.
But Jesse, I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
You've been okay?
I've been okay.
Felix
all around.
there, he's always here
Yeah.
with us.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you over the budget yet?
Yes, I'm over the budget, and I'm ready to talk about the budget today.
Okay, Felix, are you
Wow,
over the budget?
he's
Or
prepared
you are-
himself.
But overall, would you find it progressive or regressive?
Total regressive.
Total.
Hey.
Total regressive.
It's not just regressive, it's total
Yeah, yeah,
regressive.
total regressive.
Please, indulge us.
All right. Thank you so much for bringing me back on your show. I mean, it's been a nice journey coming back here.
Will you tell us the name of the girl behind you in that picture? If I don't ask.
Why you're so naughty?
No, but
One thing is that I don't know the girl anywhere. The picture was taken without my conscience. So, I mean, I just found the picture. Wow.
yeah, let's finish the budget.
So we'll talk about that one backstage. Yeah. All right. So talking about the budget, well, I don't see anything new or transformative with this 2024 self-described Nkonim budget. I mean, it's the same budget and it has the same physiology compared to other budgets read in this country, featuring useless political slogans that has been named this budget. And I mean, there were some expectations.
Strong words.
And there are some
So harsh.
expectations that the youth were expecting. Not even the youth, I mean, the whole country. We were expecting certain things that could better our lives as citizens.
Like what?
Some of these things, you see, the budget failed to address unemployment issues. And that is the number one issue confronting Ghanaians.
If the government doesn't see it as an issue, because we're just told that the YA is about to enroll over 2,000 people.
If you're about to enroll 2,000
and,
people,
and before
you-
that, there's
and
been
you
some
have
enrollment.
no, MFA. Listen,
20,000, I think.
Ghana,
So 20,000 or 2,000. I'll find the figure.
MFA.
Yeah.
You see, politicians always find their way of giving us pleasing figures, but the reality is that they are not giving us the jobs. And Ghana, as it stands now, if you take over 40,000 graduates from all public universities, about 95% of them are jobless. And we were expecting that this budget, as they named Nkonim budget, for me, I don't see anything in Nkonim about this budget, should address unemployment issues. Because people are going to tertiary institutions, paying huge sums of money, after 4 years, 6 years, 7 years, come back home and find no job to do, and you go to parliament and you declare Nkonim budget without any significant impact on the people in this country. And secondly, also, the budget did not address our debt crisis. The self-inflicted debt crisis by the Bawumia-led government.
It didn't?
It didn't.
Okay.
It didn't. And mind you, we have not been servicing our debt obligations for the past 7 years.
Because we can't afford it.
Because we can't
Oh,
afford
all of
And
us.
this is
We're not
because-
servicing all of it.
I don't know. He doesn't.
No,
don't
we've
you
not
know the
servicing-
debt exchange program?
No,
Yeah.
no.
I mean, but the debt exchange servicing it. It's gathering
It's
of
different.
service.
Yeah,
Yes,
it is
and
sort of,
all what
yeah.
they've done is to just carry forward
Restructure.
our debt obligation for the next 1 year.
Come again on
Okay.
that. What
For,
did
for the next, all what they are doing is to carry forward our debt obligations for the next 1 year. And our domestic and external debt, they are not servicing all of them.
Hey,
No, because they are restructuring to be able to service it. Is that not what they're doing?
So
Otherwise, what would they collect the money from?
I want to
no,
pitch you
service
something
no,
here.
no.
them? Felix
to-
will
to-
come.
Let-
Don't
Let's
worry,
just see.
Felix.
Let's just see. Lana.
Jesse would
They
love
are
it.
not. They are not restricting anything. All what they are doing to the public is just to name sweet name on it without any work on grounds.
I mean, it's hard
Okay,
for me to
Felix.
believe that the whole of the government is doing absolutely nothing. Maybe they're doing something, but it's not up to
No,
your
it's
expectations.
not maybe. Listen, Emma, for where we stand now as a country, this is not about maybe. We are talking about raw issues on the ground. We are not coming to have political rhetorics anymore. We are done with those kind of conversation. Now we need a leader. We don't need a president as we talk now. We need a leader with transformative ideas. Do you get me? Listen, when you go to Volta region, at Timpoko and those places, look at the quality lands that we have there. And what is the government doing to transform these lands to boost our economy? Do you get it? What are they doing? I mean, we need practical we need practical ideas to transform the lives of Ghanaians. Ghana, as it stands now, is the second largest producers of tilapia when you go to Volta region. But ask yourself, what is the transformative impact on the people farming the tilapia?
Tilapia, yes,
So this is not about big English. You see, sometimes we can go higher on our vocabularies after mentioning the GDP and all these things. But what happens to the common man on the streets? What happens to the spare parts owners at Abosokai? You understand? Okay. And this is the Ghana that we want. We don't want a Ghana full of vocabularies, and at the end of the day, you have about 90% of people sleeping on empty stomachs.
Okay.
Do you get me?
I understand.
So this is the cry of Ghanaians as we talk now. Not about weaving taxes on locally produced sanitary pads. Let me tell you how many Ghanaian industries produce sanitary pads in this our nation.
Maybe this is
Do you get me?
This is going to start that. Maybe this is going to spark.
Well, first of all, how many Ghanaians are locally producing?
Thank you. So if you are waiving taxes, it's like you are doing nothing.
So now
you are just
accessibility to the products is going
exactly.
to be
So I say this budget to be pointless. Thank you very much.
All right, MFF, thank you very much.
This is the first time a guest has ended by himself and says thank you very much. And the next guest can speak. Phyllis, please, you go on.
So good morning to your viewers and then you as well. But my brother, I don't know whether he's perused the budget itself or he's just trying to make some analogies which does not match to the details of the budget. Because the Nkunim budget itself, by the theme or title, tells you there's a victory ahead. Nkunim.
Okay, it's ahead. We don't have it yet.
Because it's a budget.
Okay.
You know, it's a forecast.
Yeah.
All right, it's a forecast. So meaning it's a victory ahead. And even if you look at the budget carefully, per the presentation the finance minister made, he made mention that the economy is going to grow into a trillion cedis economy, which is something Ghana has to celebrate about. If my brother here is sitting here saying the budget is pointless, it makes no sense to him.
The question many have raised is, what are indicators? What are the indicators that we're going to raise that
if you look at the details of the budget, look, per the minister's presentation, all right, he made mention before COVID and then after COVID, when the NDCs were in power, all right, what they left, you know, the loot they left. Looking at, for instance, the taxes they introduced, about 27 taxes, which the NPP came in somewhere 2016, 17, and then slashed about 16 taxes from it, reducing the tax burden on Ghanaians. And therefore, you know, when it comes to tax, raising revenue within a country, you have to, expand with a tax net. Expanding the tax net will demand you to get the people to also contribute. Looking at a country where...
Give me a minute. Take me back
yeah.
to the number of taxes that the NDC had
27.
introduced. 27.
No,
I haven't checked.
about new some
ahead,
taxes
you say
that the NDC introduced somewhere 2015 was about 27.
It was
Fair
about
enough.
27.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
It was about 27. And then the NPP administration slashed about 16 of it.
Okay.
Which
And
was
then you're
categorized
coming
as
back
new
to-
some taxes.
Then you
11.
come back to
The reason, yes.
to increase the
increase
taxes
it.
again. What's
Increase
the
it, no,
difference?
usually expansion.
What do you mean? The
raising-
tax base or the rate? What are they expanding? The base of it or the rate?
Yes,
of it?
so when it comes, let's say, during their tenure or during the Mahama-led administration tenure, we didn't have something we call COVID.
Okay.
We didn't have this Russia-Ukraine war.
Agreed.
Absolutely. So compared to this dispensation we are in now, there's a replication that if you know, let's take American economy for instance, their inflation as at 2017, if I stand to be corrected with the figure actually, was somewhere 1.6%. Double up in by 2020, 2021, it doubled up to 3.5%. So this should tell you that there has been a turmoil when it comes to the global economic chain, the value chain. That is where is going to put halt into productivity because we live in a global system whereby we interconnect geographically. So therefore, if we, for instance, in Ghana, which is known to be an import-driven economy. So therefore, things we consume more are imported into the country. So if, let's say, we take more goods from America, and then now America's inflation has increased into about 3.5% from 1.6. Therefore, we are importing artificial inflation into our country, which will double up onto ours. Already, we have our problems here. that we need to tackle. So these are details we need to look into before we come to make
Basically, you're
such.
justifying why the new government had to increase
So expand
the tax.
the tax.
This is a
Look,
justification of it.
our tax to GDP as a country, we can take it this way. Look, in a democratic economy or in the economic system that we are practicing in this country, it is whereby we allocate resources and distribute it among the people. All right. So therefore, the people come together. Let's do it this way, for a layman's view to understand what I'm trying to say. The people come together. Let's select a leader, so that this person will lead us in controlling and managing the affairs of the country.
Resources.
So we vote, we choose a person to come and lead us. So the resources is more or less like the people have to contribute. Because if you look at the primary resources or revenue generation of every country or a government is tax. Our tax to GDP here is 13%. Which about, if you strike a 13% on the population of 32 million people, how much are you getting?
What's the
2 point
debate
something
here?
million people contributing to 32 million.
But Phyllis, what's the debate here? That people do not want to pay taxes, or you're giving us reasons why a government will
I'm
introduce
talking about
That's
here.
not under
I'm talking about the
debate.
expansion. The reason why we had to
That's not
expand.
under debate. But I think Jesse's concern is the fact that whether or not they had decreased the number of taxes or taxes that we're paying from 27 to 16 or whatever it is, he's asking how is it being utilized? And I don't think it's Jesse only that's been asking this question. A lot of people have been asking this question. So this budget is not telling us what it's been doing, but it's giving us futuristic what is
forecast.
going
Yeah.
forecast.
Yeah.
And okay, so I know that since about May till now, inflation hasn't really been good,
Yes.
but it's
Yeah.
reduced. Like
35.
we've
This
got
is
here,
not
we've got
35,
some
yeah.
impressive, we've got some impressive numbers. But it's been May, and we're in November.
Yeah, if you
I
look at
cannot-
the detail of the
fuel price is
budget,
still the same, isn't it?
if you look at the detail of the budget, it's projecting to reduce inflation by the,
Let's talk about the
2024
one
to
that it has-
15%.
Let's talk about the one that
Yes, the
has been decreased.
As it from the
I know,
45 to
I know that
I
there's
guess-
a process and there's a period that if taxes, if inflation reduces, you do as a people, you do not feel it instantly.
Yes.
There's,
Yeah.
there's a period
Yeah,
that
it takes before.
that it takes.
Yeah.
But I'm asking that from May till now, when
When
Are we going to
start
have
feeling
when
the impact?
yes,
You're saying,
when
are we going to start- yeah.
how
Oh,
is, that?
yeah.
Is it possible? Would we? Do you think the price of kinky can ever go back to the way it was? The price of fuel, if not back at least, would it ever? Would we hear that? Or because we have made some positive strides, we have reduced this by this percentage? Do you think is that what the budget suggests? The budget is suggesting to say.
The budget itself is projecting
Okay.
that inflation, as we are talking, standing on the point of inflation, that inflation is going to reduce as of 2024 to 15%. That is the projection the budget is given. So if you look at now inflation, where your question comes in, the impact, people feeling the impact of the reduction in the inflation rate. Yes, it's going to take time. It's not that we just reduce it and then the inflation comes down. Because if you look at the global inflation rate chain, that is the global inflation rate. It's hovering somewhere around, I think, 6 point something percent, which if Ghana to take a share, I stand to be corrected with the figure, which Ghana to take a share of it, we took about 45% contribution to the global inflation rate chain that increased after COVID repercussions, after the COVID.
Okay.
So this is is a global issue. So to trickle down into our country, it will take time before we would have the impact.
Okay, Jesse,
Yeah.
what was it that you
Yeah.
wanted to explain with your data and your figures that you had brought? Jesse brought some graph. Is
Yes,
it pie
please.
chart or
Yeah, so
graph or
before we
whatever?
go to that chart,
Yes.
I would like to put some caution outside there.
That what?
So, MFA, as we sit here, we hold a legal responsibility to talk for the common man on the street. We are not here to talk about future projections, which has 20% possibility.
What
But
can
you have
they
to
do?
plan ahead.
What
I'm
else can
coming.
they do? For you to,
When you,
for the
when
common
you,
man on
when
the
you
street to eat.
when you take a microscopic look at the 2024
This guy's a
budget,
science student.
Thank you very much. When you take a microscopic look at the 2024 budget, there was nothing addressed to our poor educational system, and yet still our various primary schools, the teachers in the various primary schools are taking 20 Ghana cedis each from students.
But this
In
is
the
a
name of-
policy matter, Jesse.
No,
because the city
MFA,
government
do you
believes
know,
in free
MFA,
SHS,
they've been
but does not
taking-
believe
MFA,
in.
they've been taking this money for 2 good years. And there is no improvement. The last time I went to Eastern Region and I found an a JHS complex around Tinkon, those area. I found a school without a roofing, and students have been going there every day.
This has
And this has been since time immemorial.
So why is it?
So why should you make a debate on this one?
So no, it's not. It's
It's
not a
been just
debate.
since time
I mean,
immemorial.
It's not
I
a
mean,
debate.
it's not nice to know
I'm
that.
surprised that you're
I am
actually saying
saying
that.
this,
Kevin,
but
you
It's not a
saying that.
debate. Listen, as we sit here, we are youth, and we should fight for the good cause of this country. We can't sit here and be talking about figures that might not be true.
okay. So for you, for education, what are you asking?
Do you get it?
What's
So-
specifically your request on the education?
So my request on education, my personal request, which I believe is the request of majority
Many.
of the Ghanaians mainly in this country, we need to restructure. Total
When you say
restructure.
restructuring, what do you mean?
Total restructure. On education, listen, there are so many useless courses that our children are reading in school, which has no impact on them. We know it, you know it. It has no total
What do you think
impact.
of the free SHS policy?
Even in the university.
Are you for the free SHS policy?
I'm not for the free SHS policy. I have my own grievances about the free SHS policies, of which I'm not going to tackle that, because if I say I'm going to it might take a lot of our time.
Okay.
You understand? There are a lot of things going on in our educational system. Even at the tertiary levels, there are things going on. There are things that we are learning, which
you
will not
think
help
that-
us.
So
Let's
okay,
come
so
back to
in
the
terms of
budget. I feel like-
priorities,
The figures that I gave
I want
to
us to come back to the budget.
okay, so
Yes.
he's saying that education was not addressed in the budget.
unemployment
So
issues are
So he's giving
everything.
you
He's not ready.
limitations.
Yes.
Right.
He's
so the
saying
things that
so.
you feel
So you're
that
saying
minister
that-
should have addressed.
I think the budget gave some
It gives- it
allocations
gave
to
education. You are
But
just
you're
being
talking
sentimental.
No,
about-
it's not enough.
You are being sentimental.
Okay.
As
You are being
now,
sentimental.
as now Ghana, as it stands now, it's not enough.
Okay, so the tax waivers, which one of them has your attention?
Yeah.
There were 8 major industries that the budget is addressing, that they're waiving
Well,
tax
I
on.
can speak
Manufacturing
to
and co-
I can speak to the tax waiver on the sanitary part.
Are you
Because
happy about that?
I'm not happy about that. As I said earlier,
Is it not going to reduce the prices of furniture parts in the country?
how many locally produced sanitary pads do we have at the Melcom, at ShopRite?
At the end of the
If
day,
you go to
is it not
ShopRite-
going to?
No,
Is it
no.
not going to?
It's not going to
is it
do
not
anything,
going to-
my brother. It's not
No,
going to do
listen,
anything.
listen,
When
listen,
you go to ShopRite,
listen.
how many locally
The-
produced sanitary pads do we have?
This waiver is sort of going to motivate even other
It's not going to
entrepreneurs to
motivate.
move
But it
into
doesn't
Do you
address
know
the
the
main
logistics?
issues then.
Do you
It's
know?
gonna-
But
Do
my
you know
period-
the
but my
logistics
period is
that
not
you
going to be
need
on
to construct
standstill.
a manufacturing
I-
industry to
I-
produce
I- I
sanitary
get
pads?
you.
We should, but this is a provision
It's a
they're
step.
making to
Absolutely.
help.
It's a
No,
forecast.
wait,
I live in
sorry,
a- it's a
sorry, I'm not a
forecast.
guest here.
It's
I'm not a
forecast.
guest
No,
here.
I know,
No.
it starts somewhere in the
Where?
program.
And
It
even
starts
It starts
somewhere.
by
provision-
waiving tax
You're
on the
giving me a reason.
important one. It is the major one that is the problem.
Yes. And do you know the logistics that you need to manufacture
you see
sanitary
what
pads
we
in
are
this
getting
country?
wrong.
You're not getting anything wrong.
This budget is focused on fiscal consolidation. All right, for the government to be careful of its spending. That is what is about, because we have an IMF
So why do you
program.
put
So you're being
in?
careful.
So why do you put
We are
in
being
no tax?
careful.
No,
Listen,
it's not about you
listen.
being careful.
We are not putting.
It's
Did we
about
introduce
you
any
being
new tax?
useless
There's no
and
new
not being
tax.
thankful
There's no
about
new tax
what's going on.
introduced. There's
Why
no
do you-
new tax introduced.
Why do you take
So why
off
do you
tax
say we
on
introduce
locally?
new
Like
tax?
it doesn't make sense to even the normal Ghanaian outside. Why do you take tax on locally produced sanitary pads? How many sanitary pads do we have at ShopRite? Tell me. How many locally
They are locally
produced sanitary
produced.
pads do we have? We don't have none.
You don't have none. So this
it's
is
basically-
so-
it's
that's what I'm saying.
basically-
It's a
it's
step.
a-
It's a step.
and
It's a
even
step
if-
we've taken. So
and
if
what
you are
step?
saying
And
this,
even if a businessman in Ghana here wants to take opportunity of this no tax on sanitary pads, do you know the logistics that you need
So if he has-
to
You still import stuff, which
Yes.
he still has to
So-
pay tax on.
So
Okay,
don't
just
talk about these
here's
things.
what the minister says. The minister says that we're determined to do more to boost the capacity of the private sector to expand productivity and create jobs.
Well, that's what they
Absolutely.
say.
Now,
We've had
in
the
the
same
past
things.
7
Let's
years,
listen to
we have
what she's
invested
doing. Yeah.
32.7 billion Ghana cedis
Okay.
to keep the lights on and support the growth of businesses, and invested 25.3 billion Ghana cedis to facilitate the repositioning of financial sector and enhance its ability to assist business operations. So if you're asking for employment and all of that, once production is booming, then people are going to get employed, I guess. But also in agriculture, they mentioned some good amount of money. Employment, they also
Yes.
they're investing 2.4 billion Ghana cedis in NAPCO. In NAPCO again? I didn't see that one.
I mean, that's where. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For employment, yes.
Yeah.
Address
Yes.
this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so-
with your question about employment.
I don't have a question.
Audrey, your road infrastructure
no,
was
you-
highlighted.
was
They're
there,
going to
yeah.
invest. But
Yeah.
you talk about NAPCO.
Yeah.
They're investing what 2.4 billion
Yeah.
Ghana cedis in NAPCO.
Yeah, so
NAPCO is still
restructuring the
functioning?
framework. No,
I
this is
wanted
about
to-
restructuring the framework of NAPCO.
Okay.
Re-strategizing how we are going to, get the youth involved in the sectors, in the production sector, whereby it will create more employment and lead to the reduction of unemployment rate. So as
But
he
NABCO existed. That's what I'm.
it existed.
Did
It existed.
DAPCO achieve at least half of his objective?
It did. It did. At least the youth were employed.
Is it
So
about
some
will see
employment or
salaries.
being employed and
MFR,
getting
see,
paid?
that's my
They
problem
were
now.
paid. So they were
Well,
paid.
NABCO was more about training, though. It was just getting a little experience, hands-on
Yes,
experience.
training them on
from,
the job, and then
you
at
know,
least
It
they-
wasn't. It wasn't to solve any backlog of young people looking for.
Oh, I
jobs.
mean, it was to give. It's not employment,
There was a
employment, but it's
policy
supposed
to
to.
clear the backlog.
The backlog,
Yeah, there was a
yes.
policy. Even though there was a training
Yes.
aspect, there was an
To
aspect
and get
to clear
pay
the
and get
backlog.
Oh,
allowances.
they get allowances,
they-
of
yeah,
course.
they do.
That we agree.
But you saw the challenges that they face. Many
Yeah.
people, we spoke to young people here, Gordon, that said that after the training, institutions were not ready
Want
to
to
take
pick
them,
them
absorb
up.
them.
Yes, yes,
So
I
many would
mean-
have to go back home.
Yeah.
The fact that they're not being
Honestly,
paid. was-
honestly,
the
with,
restructuring is what I'm
with
asking.
I had my reservations with the initial NABCO initiative.
Initial, but the new one that's coming there,
The
you have
new,
your-
the new one.
Do you know how the-
Definitely.
do you know-
Felix.
do you know how the new one's going to be?
Felix.
And that's why I said there's
know
going
how
to be a
it's gonna be.
restructuring of the
Okay.
framework.
So you just believe
Alright.
that whatever restructuring
This is a
going to be
forecast,
done,
yes. Even as of now, they've not
will
yet
be-
got into the details to debate on the budget itself, whereby the budget itself will be taken to Parliament for the
Yes,
MPs
yes.
and the
So that we
committees
listen
to
to the
debate
news-
on.
the-
So
the-
this
So
is
far-
just a
So far, we have
summary.
invested 541.5 billion Ghana cedis in 169 one district, one factory projects.
Yeah.
And this is to scale up value connectivity. Oh,
like
value
the thing to
addition
say,
and.
yeah.
Let me for please with that. I have a
Unfortunately, the
chart.
pictures are a bit pixelating, so we're unable
so
to
we are
show
unable
them.
to-
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Because I have a chart that will contradict what you are reading.
Ah,
Yes.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the
Can you
charts, the
can you
ones-
read it from
Yes,
your phone
please, I
and let
can
me
read
know?
it for you. I can read it for you.
So
I
what's,
think, but ultimately,
Okay,
I-
so this is the industrial sector relating to what you are saying. So
it's from where, please? The
please, it's from
GSS.
the source 2024 budget.
Okay.
This 2024 budget. I gave it to your
I
producer.
just wanted to be sure.
Exactly. So in 2017, our industrial sector grew to 15.6%. That's in 2017.
Industrial.
Now, yes, industrial sector. In 2018, it grew to 10.5.
It
Decreased
reduced.
to 10.5. And in 2019, drastic reduced to 6.4%.
So it's not COVID matter.
And in 2020, please, and in 2020, we compacted to negative 2.5%.
Industrial sector.
Industrial sector. In 2021, negative 0.5%. You can check the 2024 budget
Yeah.
if you have it.
in basic English, what's all of what you're saying?
And in 2022, we had 0.9%.
Okay.
2023, we had negative 2.2%. So if you tell me that there is an increase in our industrial sector, this is the chart.
Look,
There is no
during-
improvement in our industrial sector pertaining to the budget that Ken Ofori-Atta, which is civil servant, read at the parliament.
So
If this is anything to go by, then it means that it's
Do you
really
get
not an
me?
issue of the 2020 COVID that hit the world, because he started from 2017.
Yeah, I tell you
20,
what,
why don't
From-
we take it back from
from 20
2014 thereabout?
Why are we going to
Why are we
2014?
going
See,
to
that's what I don't
At
like.
what point do you
just
get to
because
it?
That's the argument I don't like,
Look.
because
Exactly.
it's not about what
Yes.
somebody has done, it's about what you are
We are
doing.
not having a
I really
minimalist
don't
approach
like.
here. You get it?
Where did you start from? Let's start from where you started from. Yeah,
All
okay.
right.
Let's
So
say
it was doing well.
You inherited it a very terrible whatever it is,
absolutely.
and then you want to do it better. That's why
Yeah.
you were brought in.
Yeah.
Okay, so you came in, and then the numbers started decreasing.
Yeah.
So what are you telling me, Felix?
So looking at the chart, let me see. Looking at the
So
chart.
let me see.
Let me see your chart.
Please, you can have your document. It's online. Go to the Ministry of
I need
Finance
to show it to
website.
you.
Just is not fair. Show it to Felix.
So, and even with the COVID, Godwin, do you know that the Ministry of Health and the Ghana Health Service administered expired COVID drugs to Ghanaians? According to the Auditor General's report, do you know?
Yes. I mean, that's another conversation. And
Okay, so
we can't
please,
we can't
you
prove
can
that
check it
right
for
now.
yourself.
I don't know about that
If the
now.
Auditor General has said it, who are we to go and prove what?
Exactly.
No, I didn't hear the Auditor General said it.
Yes.
No, but I mean, I should be able to. I don't know this, so
I
I can't.
mean,
it's in the
Auditor General has
He's
gathered
saying
a
it. I
lot.
don't know
I will
if,
send
if
it
you
to
know
you.
it.
I'll
I-
send
Okay.
It's in the
Okay,
document.
said they
so
administered
expired
so
COVID vaccines.
this one has my attention.
Okay.
Now today, the Development Bank of Ghana has facilitated 1 billion Ghana cedis in competitive financing for private sector, and this continues to mitigate risk in agriculture sector.
Competitive
Which
financing.
which agricultural sector is? What's your assessment of agricultural sector?
So
Planting for food, I think, is
the
woefully.
phase 2 of planting for food and jobs.
What happened? Why did you jump from 1 and go to 2? Let's talk about the phase 1. How did the phase
Yeah,
1?
move forward.
The phase 1.
How did the phase 1 do?
You see, let's tackle this approach with honesty. All right, because
We don't have
looking
time,
at
so let's make it
yeah,
snappy.
yeah. So looking at the phase 1 of the planting for food and jobs, let's all be sincere, because food was not an issue. Food was very accessible, as at the time. from 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, food was very accessible. We didn't have the case where maybe plantain, for instance. That's why we saw Akoto.
I think that planting for food was to solve futuristic agricultural problem.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that the time that we're doing planting for food, if food was accessible, then you say that planting for food was a success. I should have food at the time that there's crisis. Then you say that planting for food then is solving my hunger today.
In COVID time, we didn't suffer from food.
Struggle with this COVID thing.
Anyway.
Because let's touch briefly
Anyway.
on former President Mohammed's 24-hour economy.
That one is what you can buy food at.
Yes,
Osu,
it's an
Adon
economy
or
running 24. Yes, and
That's
then-
what it
and
means.
It's not just that. Yeah, it's
I mean.
most. He included the private sector. A lot of the private sector is coming on board, also making sure that they run, because most private sectors don't work 24/7. Most don't work 24/7.
Has he put out a comprehensive document that's
No, it's not.
He
He's
just
not.
said-
It's not a comprehensive document. But when he said that, he got some criticisms and they were like, but there are institutions that function 24/7. So like you have ECG, you have the water companies. Like you can buy ECG anytime if you want water. Other services are there. Even hospitals. Some hospitals function 24/7. So what is he talking about? And he says so he wants to include more of both the public and the private sector, and it will be voluntary. It's not going to be mandatory like by force. Everybody has to. But if you decide to come on board and roll on the policy, some tax incentives are going to be meted
way
out to
for
you
you, okay.
and all that. So encourage them to come on board. So I just wanted to know what they thought about it briefly before.
Well, as Gordon rightly said, it's all about job creation. And I don't think there is anything new about the 24-hour economy because it was featured in their previous economy, that's the People's Manifesto.
Right.
Just that the marketing concerning the 24-hour economy was not enough.
Didn't go
So I
well.
think it's this time that they figured
want to
it out,
touch.
applied much more pomade to it, and now
shaking your head.
it's all over. Yeah, and I think the main idea of this 24-hour economy is to provide jobs for the people, and much more of it include the private sector, because there are some incentives like giving them night patrol because they're encouraging the private sector to work at night, so they will give them free patrol services and free transport
Some good
services. No,
Some good incentives, as
yes,
you
yes,
said.
exactly.
Okay.
So that is
Okay.
what the 24-hour
Brad
economy.
Felix.
Yeah.
We'll run shift too, by the way. So people go to work in the morning, in the evening, and then
We'll be paid hourly.
But-
You know,
but-
in Abuja somewhere, Abuja
Yeah.
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 working.
Make it take-
You
make
know,
it
Yeah, that is what we
24-hour
call
economy.
24/7.
Yeah.
24/7. That's the 10
Are you happy
24/7.
about that?
Oh, I'm
a
happy,
good thing,
but
isn't
but
it?
coming from Mahama
It's
is
feasible.
It's shaky.
questionable. Yeah, because
It's questionable, eh?
yeah.
If it was Baumia that said it.
But wait, let's not go to Baumia now.
But if it was him that
we
said
are doing
it.
digitization, right? ECG he mentioned, we can now purchase from the app, right?
So he has a
So
record.
this is something. During his tenure, he couldn't even keep our light on. Maybe today we don't have power banks charging our
MFA,
phone.
please, are we
And
coming
look,
to
when
talk
it comes
about
to
Baumia here?
24-hour,
No.
when it comes
I'll
to
send you an invoice.
when it comes to
I'll send you an
when-
invoice. You can do
when
small
it-
campaign for.
when it comes to when it
Guys,
comes to
thank
a
you, our time is
24
up.
and let me land here. When it comes to a 24-hour economy,
Uh-huh.
it demands energy.
Uh-huh.
Energy is a critical factor you need to consider when it comes to 24-hour
Yeah,
economy.
providing energy
And
for
he
us.
couldn't give us energy when he was president.
It's
Today he
electronic
wants to
vehicles
promise
that
us
we
that
have
he's
to. We
going.
want to remove tax waivers.
The electronic vehicle, can you buy it?
It's all
He
good.
couldn't give us light. He couldn't give us light. It's true we had
Anyway,
Dumso
always a
Dumso.
pleasure talking to young
It's true we had
people,
Dumso Dumso.
on matters
So-
that concern the country. Felix,
Yeah.
have a good one. Jesse, have a good one. All right, thank you for coming.
It's Felix's document here. For
I'm
me.
telling
It's
you,
like-
he's a clear
Is it
student.
your student, your class notes or lecture notes?
Political notes, yeah, with
Wow.
fact figures, everything. Please, I want to extend greetings to my boss,
All right.
Mr. Richmond Amofasapon, founder of Ghana Tertiary Awards.
Ah,
He's my
okay.
boss. He's my one and only boss.
Then
We all
let me
greet
also greet
Don't
my,
greet
my
Baumia.
boss. I'm going to greet Ken Ohine Japan.
Ah,
Yes,
Ah.
Ken Ohine Japan.
that's it.
Yes.
That thing that they said he did in Parliament, is it true?
That
He didn't
so
want
that oh Kasame.
No, it's not true. It's not true.
Was it not
All
true?
right, guys.
Someone was talking behind the video.
All right, guys.
The
So
showdown
thank
he
you.
gave to the MP.
Thank you
yeah.
so much. Guys, let's have a conversation with this gentleman who is an author, lecturer, and lawyer. Have you had any conversation about energy law and policy before? Did you know anything about it at all? Thankfully, there's a book about it. Let's have that conversation. Let's motivate you about how he started this journey.